Hey guys, how's it going? Jovan, Hutton, Pulitzer here. Sorry, I got something in my eye. I'm getting a lot of messages, right, from people all over, and they're asking about, all these rumors and stuff of what can happen, what if, uh, shit hits the fan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And I've actually been through this. I want to share with you a story, right? And people are all around. I try to get everybody up on the screen. Says Trump is set to talk at 5:30 a.m. 42 minutes from now. I'm not sure. I haven't heard, but let me tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story real quick. I'm going to try to keep it soft, simple, fast, etc. Right? And giving you some information. And people are laughing at the photo I put up. Let me show you that photo, right? And here's why I'm doing this, because so many scared people. A lot of people have never been through this. So let me show you a few things. Let me see if I've got my screen set right. The state of Georgia, after I went and testified, their article, basically a hit piece on me, it was very interesting. They focused on this. A book I wrote, I don't remember, 14, 15 years ago, whatever the case may be. This is the second edition version of it, and it's called Commanders, How to Cut Off Your Arm and Eat Your Dog, plus other recipes for survival. And you know me, I'm like, if you're going to mark it right? You want people to kind of look at it and go like, holy smoke, what does this mean? So I want to tell you a story that will put all of this into perspective for you, because I have been through a complete breakdown of society and government for an extended period of time. So I'm going to condense this down really quick and tell you a story, because this could help you. The year was basically 96? I think. Anyway, I was in Los Angeles, and I was speaking at a television conference, because many times around the world I am invited to speak at conferences. Okay. And so I speaking at this conference, we were all kind of waiting to see what would happen, because this was when the decision was going to come down regarding Rodney King verdict, right? And you remember Rodney King, a fellow that was high and running, known to be on drugs, etc. The cops pulled him over after a high-speed chase, and this was the new dawn of handheld video cameras, and a citizen caught it. And that was the turning point when the news really found, if it bleeds, it leads, right? Before that, probably the most radical one might have been the Kent State shooting, or might have been when the monk lit himself on fire, or whatever the case may be, if you remember back there, right? And so it was caught on video, and it was kind of played out of context. Again, we're seeing this today, but that was way back then. And so everybody's waiting for the Rodney King verdict. And almost as soon as I came off stage speaking at this conference, I was in Santa Monica, out at the beach, and had a home basically at Sunset and Doheny, which, if you know the Sunset Strip, it's right there at the Whiskey A Go-Go. If you've been to LA and you've kind of been into that scene and stuff. And so Whiskey A Go-Go's here, and over here is where River Phoenix passed away. And it's all the kind of club set. And I'm just right up the hill, right? And so I think at that time, to the left and down was, to the left and up was Sylvester Stallone. To left and down was Madonna at the time. It was a really interesting time, right? And so I'm in a convertible, and all of a sudden we hear that the riots broke out over the Rodney King verdict. And so I hop in the car, and I'm coming all the way across basically what is Sunset. I'm just coming all the way across from the beach. And I'm kind of worried because you're hearing on the radio, shots were fired, and I'm in a rag top, right? Not too smart. Anyway, I get up, wind up Doheny, get to the house, run in the door, open the TV. Now I'm going to show you what I saw. This is a later narrated version of it, but the footage you're seeing is what I saw when I went into the house and turned on the TV. This was the first thing I saw. Now, it was only about 22 minutes, okay, 22 minutes from the beach to the house. Boom, I was just hooking it. It was perfect time of day, no traffic or whatever. Here's what I saw on TV. I'm going to take you, not this narration, but the video footage is what I saw happen in real time.
Reginald Denny was the truck driver. We watched him by the millions. Here is the tape of what happened there. Now you're going to see people go up to the cab of this truck, I think, and pull him out. Let's see how the tape goes.
This is where it all started, and you heard Mark Ridley Thomas suggest that if the LAPD had come in and dealt with this in a big hurry, maybe all of this would have been avoided. And of course, the other side to that is that they were there, they knew they were outnumbered, they had to pull back for their own safety and by policy, and that's what happened. So you've got two sides to what we're seeing here. This is the beginning of it. There's the body.
There is Reginald Denny. He is the man who was pulled out of his truck, kicked and beaten terribly until he was...
We have Bobby Green Jr.
So I'll stop it there. Reginald Denny was a truck driver. He was driving that big rig. And when he came through the town, a group of guys climbed up on his truck, pulled him out, punched him, kicked him several times on the ground, and another guy ran up and took a brick and just full force, like throwing a baseball at him, threw it at him, hit his head. You could see his head bust open, and he's out. He's laying on the ground. And so I think to myself, holy shit, shit's about to hit the fan, right? Bang, just a brick to the head, right? It was an awful time. If folks, you can't see links in it. It was an awful time if it happened. Okay, yeah, 92, sorry. And so from watch now, I've done 22 minutes and walk into the house. I literally watched them pulling him out, hit the brick in the head, and I think to myself, holy shit, this is going to be bad. I run to the balcony. Now the balcony looks up and you can basically see, you know, you see sunset and all this stuff, but I'm looking down in to Wilshire and the valley, you know, both ends. By that time, as far as I could see right to the ocean, and as far as I could see left into the hills, everything was burning. Everything was burning. So I'm thinking, holy smokes, this is LA. Nobody has food. What the hell do you do? So I haul ass down the hill and I get to the first grocery store. There's nothing left in the grocery store. So going down Sunset and everything, you know, everything's being boarded up real quick. I keep on going down. I'm headed past Capitol Records, all that stuff. Everything's boarded up. And I remembered there was this one little off convenience store, kind of little up in a nook in the side of a building, a little Asian place, right? Got there, I zipped in, and even in that place, nothing was left in the store except pink ho-hos. You know what ho-hos are? Not the typical kind of Sunset ho-hos. They're different. These ho-hos are the little chocolate cakes with the pink coconut crap on them, right? They come two to a package. They're called ho-hos. Anyway, I think I got either 2 or 3 packages of ho-hos. And then I got 4 chocolate yoo-hoos. Remember yoo-hoo? Snowballs. That's it. Snowballs. You're right. Snowballs. And so I had these pink snowballs. That was it. Everybody's correcting me. So thank you very much for that. Snowballs, right? So I get these little pink snowballs. That's all there was. And I got these yoo-hoos. Now, yoo-hoo was the chocolate drink. Okay. And at that time in my life, I didn't eat anything like this, right? I used to, you know, I have my juice pressed every day. I would sit and have breakfast or lunch, depending upon diet, with Fabio. Remember Fabio with his hair, Mr. Whatever. And we're all sitting there having our drinks on the sunset and drinking our juice, and it was just the way life was then. That was all that was there. Nothing else. No grocery store. So now I got a bag full of snowballs and bottles of Yoo-hoo, and I head back up to the hill. And I was supposed to leave that next day. And where I was going is I was going to film Paula Abdul under the Color Me Bad tour, right? Or Color Me Bad or Paula tour, the black and white, right, tour, when she'd just come out with that song and had Color Me Bad and all these guys with them. So I'm going to go film and stuff and do the Canadian leg of it from one side of Canada to the next. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm still going to get out of town. I got to do this because a lot of my background's production. And then I get a call. Two things happen. Paula called, said, can't explain it, but we're not going to be able to film today. I thought it was the riot. No, it was her running to marry Emilio Estevez, if you remember that. And then we're locked down in town, can't get anywhere because people were shooting at the damn planes taking off at the airport. So we're all locked in the city. And so I have been, right? And somebody's saying, I'd go hungry before I'd eat a pink snowballs. Those are gross, right? So there was nothing. I'm talking nothing. I watched society crater. There were no rules. There were nothing in the store. There was no laws. There was no supplies. You could not even get, see this? Here's what's interesting. Leaping Dog, guy is a fraud, didn't invent Q-Code. There was a deliberate deception. He invented Q-Cat, which was a scam company. They never vetted this guy before inviting him to testify. God, guys, y'all really, really, really have to do your homework and quit repeating stupid ass crap. You really should. You know, you only kind of do yourself a discredit if you don't really investigate the facts, but it's okay. I'm going to get attacked all the time. And as you can see, I'm not afraid of putting it up. And so I learned, oh my God, if society goes to hell in a handbasket, what do you really need to survive? And so I get all of these requests all the time of, what do you do? What do you have? What do you keep? What do you do? So here's what I always have on hand, and here's what you need to know, because I swore past that time I would never, ever, ever get caught like that again. And the only thing that's been upgraded on my list in my bug out bag is toilet paper. That's a new one in the coronavirus area. But rice, right? Rice in big bags. Go down to, they're usually better at the Asian store. You get a better rice, right? You get a longer lasting rice if you get brown rice versus white rice, right? But get rice. If you're going to get rice, get big zippered bag or trash bags. Put your bulk rice in it. You're going to buy anywhere from 8-pound to 20-pound bags at a time. Get you some oxygen absorbers. You can get them anywhere. And throw your little oxygen absorbers in there. And the reason I'm telling you this is some of the stuff that I talk about in this book. I basically give you some of the greatest survival stories of all, including a fellow that had to cut off his arm to survive. You've probably heard that one. And another fellow that had to eat his dog to survive. You should know these stories, right? Anyway, beans in the can are always good. If you can find ceramic lined cans, do it. But beans in cans are absolutely the quickest. If you can get the pull off tops, it's even better. Literally rice and beans, the same thing we take on expedition, and tuna fish. Here's an interesting thing you don't know about tuna fish. Tuna fish does has an expiration date, but if you actually talk to the manufacturers, it's non-expirable. But because of how the laws are written on it, they have to do it. So as long as you kind of have the protein and stuff, you're totally fine. All of those things that I just named, rice, beans, and tuna fish, or those canned meats, you can totally get through anything with canned vegetables, have a supply. I buy hundreds of pounds of them at a time and have them there. So people say, okay, well, what about boiling water and having water? Well, you should actually always have stored water. And I'm not talking about just in the bottles, you know, etc. Most people don't know that you can buy what's called water bladders. You can get them anywhere. Run the camping store right now, and you can get 5 and 10 gallon little plastic bottles that will just fill up with water and set it aside. If push comes to shove and you don't have enough water, you have anywhere from 2 to 5 gallons of pure water in the back container of your toilet. Now, most people don't know this, and you think, oh my God, I've done so horrible things. Oh yes, and you got to have coffee. Yes, you must have coffee. Okay, but there is literally water, right? Water in the back of the toilet. Get gas grill. You're right, gas grill or charcoal. That's what you should have. You can almost always cook outside. Little burners, Coleman little, you know, grill stuff. You should have these anyway if you're camping, right? You should do it from a camping standpoint, but you should have these. You really should. And all I can say is if things were to happen and if things were to go bad, you saw a disruption with COVID, you should just naturally have these things in your life, right? Rice, beans. Peggy says chocolate, right? Gail says she has a new crush on me. Thank you very much. Somebody says, what are you expecting to happen? I really don't know, right? I really don't know. Henrietta, good point. 30 gallons of water in your hot water tank. That's very good. Carl says it's been stocking up for a year, right? Always have backups. We butcher our own cows, so when the deep freeze is full, fill your tub to flush toilet. That's right. So, you know, somebody says hot dogs and beans. That works. Cigarettes, medicines. I have stocked up on penicillin before. That was back year 2000. Peanut butter, yes, can be a good one. I don't know about pizza. What's in the whole? This is my Rossi. This is like one of my favorites of most favorites of most favorites. It's a 44, right? It's a 44. You kind of see them like in the Rifleman, but basically think of it as a short rifle, right? And it's basically made like the Rifleman because you can flip it and spin it and go. And it's actually designed to wear on your hip. And so that's my Rossi. Right? It actually, see my logo? I actually have gear made for these things. And so this is my 44 Rossi. I'm always prepared. These things are every door. Disaster, I work with disaster victims, and if you don't prepare, you're screwed, right? Possible power outages. I know they went from Texas to Wisconsin, right? Unless you have a generator. Where did I see that? Oh, dang it. Garlic and oregano is a natural antibiotic. You're 100% great. Paul says corn chips and Doritos are a great fire starter. Lori says you have a sexy gun. Thank you. Did I stand up and did you see it, or were you talking about that one? Let's see. Hang on. Bought the green egg, ready for months. I like the green egg. I just couldn't see spending that much for it, right? Cash on hand. Cash on hand in really bad times are fine, right? But I found cigarettes are great trading items. Alcohol. Go buy up alcohol, right? Because alcohol is a good trade item. Batteries, of course. Timothy says Doritos to start fires, right? That works. You want barter items. That's right. You want barter items. Ammo. Somebody said, got a freeze dryer, been putting up food. I don't have a freeze dryer. I really would like one. They make a really good one. I do have dehydrator and do can. If y'all followed me for a while, you've seen me can. Kelly says, don't cook over cedar. I've cooked over cedar for salmon. I love that, right? Again, we got the same thing. Fill your bathtubs with fresh water to flush the toilet. Moriana Wizard says weed. Okay. Bear Creek soup mix, 10 gallons of Astrolite. Harold says beer. Beer is a great thing. If you've seen any of my equipment or expedition equipment, we got that covered with all kinds of vehicles. Let's see. Schnapps is good for colds. Somebody seconded. Nicole seconded. Yes, let out wild weed. People don't start panicking. Do it in moderation so there are no shortages. I'm not giving anybody a panic. You're right. You should have these. You really, really should just have these. Oil lanterns. Do you know your oil lanterns can run on corn oil, right? And all this other stuff. If your drugs, lots of drugs, I know, Charles, maybe those are good or bad. The one thing I worry about me is I actually have PTSD to a very severe stuff so much, but that's it. And I have to do that. Make sure you have some fishing equipment. There you go. Claudia says lint from the dryer is a good fire starter. You're right. Somebody said antibiotics, another fire starter. Solar radio. I have a wind-up radio. Oil lamps can be cooked. Frankincense oil. You know, I need to get some frankincense and myrrh. I love that stuff. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. But keep your heads, keep calm. Bird seed and pellet gun. You're actually right. A good pellet gun and bird seed, right? Elderberry, all this stuff. So all I'm telling you, folks, is to think about this. Charlie says bow and arrow. Have you ever seen the pocket bow and arrow? There is literally, it's a little round device about this big. It's got like a rubber cow's udder condom, chewy baby nurser kind of thing on it, right? But you hold it in your hand and you pull it back like this. It will hold and shoot an arrow. So actually where you point that zero and go boom. So it's a whole bow and arrow. The arrows, of course, are much bigger, but the bow itself is only about that big. Just whack. It'll shoot anything from rocks to bow and arrows. And so I'm always about have these things. Fine steel wool. Fine steel wool for a fire starter. Somebody said a slingshot too. Have you seen the slingshots coming out that have lasers on them? Man, if I'd have had that in the kit, I made so many slingshots. It was incredible. Wipes to bathe with. Did I do? Where did first aid kit? You're right. Paper plates, baseball bat, peanut butter and jelly. Compound bow is really good. Vitamin D supplements, a generator. I have gas, propane, propane, gasoline, and diesel. Nothing's happening. This is not that kind of message. It is not that kind of message. The only reason I'm doing this is because I wrote a book called How to Cut Off Your Arm and Eat Your Dog plus Other Survival Tips. And one of these places decided to basically mocked me for writing that book 14 years ago. And so what I did was I've just been through this. That's it. I've just been through that. And so I'm saying these are just some of the things you should have that if things were going to happen, that's it. If things were going to happen, literally be prepared. That's it. Be prepared. That's it. That's all I'm suggesting, right? Yes, don't forget your dogs and pets. Stock up on dog and cat food. You can actually eat dog and cat food if you had to. The Bible, let's see, Frumpkin Hippies Temple. From Florida, you can take your trash can, clean out the inside, insert 2 55-gallon trash bags to hold fresh water. Great idea. You can do that. Rainwater is great from your things. Here, somebody did a new, hang on. Preparing now. Where is it? Oh, damn it. Hang on. They go so fast. Here you go. You're right. Roman noodles, right? Ramen noodles, not Roman noodles. Ramen noodles, the dried noodles, right? Your 101 SAS book, your survival book, that's basically what I did. Stock up on Slim Jims. Yes, you can eat them, you can enjoy them, you can use them to lubricate things, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, that's all I'm saying is, here you go. Look, just make sure you have rope. Yeah, rope, fill junk cars with gas, that's the first thing you do. Go out and fill your car with gas. And so that's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm just sharing with you all. Here's some of the stuff you should know. And I just think with people being worried, one of the way to find peace is to prepare. Somebody called me today. That's the only why I did this spontaneous. Somebody called me and said, when I posted that thing of canning food, and they go, do you know anything? What's going on? And I said, no, I just love canning. And that was a beautiful piece of art, however that person did their canning, if you saw that on my social media. And then I decided, a lot of people just don't know this stuff. And so that's it. That's all it is. If you've never had a frank discussion about, okay, what happens if shit really hit the fan? What would you do? How would you do it? And because I've been through it, and because I know it can happen, right? Look at me. I like to eat. Do you think that a few packages of snowballs and some Yoo-Hoos held me for over a week getting out of Los Angeles? Hell no. There was no place to eat, no place to go. That's all I had. And I loved to eat. It was miserable. It was like horrible. And I just swore to myself, I would never, ever, ever let that happen to me again. Allison said, where'd Allison go? Hang on. Allison said, I just bought canning supplies, going to learn as soon as they get here. Everybody should can. I canned my entire life as a kid, right? And you should do it, right? You should do it. You're right. Music reduces stress. I listen to two cellos. You know what two cellos is? One, I like classical music as well, Baroque music, but don't call me a nerd. But you should listen to two cellos, the dudes that play cellos, but they play AC/DC, right? Freaking awesome. Anyway, I just wanted to share it to you guys. I got one little more message before you go. I think this entire time in history, we've kind of been warned against these things. Are we reliving science fiction today?
Wrong thinking is punishable. Right thinking will be as quickly rewarded. You will find it an effective combination.
Isn't that interesting? That was from Star Trek. Go back and watch this.
Wrong thinking is punishable. Right thinking will be as quickly rewarded. You will find it an effective combination.
Social media is punishing people for talking. I just want to try to bring you some peace. I've been through it. It's there. Isn't it funny? If you stop posting certain things, you can stay. If you post certain things, you go. You must think like us, you're away. How ironic that Star Trek had that episode that was thinking like us. I'll leave you with this. For me, what all this is about, I have been a prepper my entire life. I have always had and done these things. I'm only sharing my knowledge. I'm going to see if I can put the ebook of that book out free. I'll just give it to everybody, but let me kind of understand how to do that with Amazon, but I'll give it to everybody free. And as soon as I do it, I'll post it. You can download the thing. It's a massive book, but you can read it. It may give you some peace of mind, but here's all I care about.
With mail-in ballots being the most contested part of this recent general election, let's take a look at the ballot as a simple piece of paper. Paper has memory. If a ballot was mailed, there will be folds throughout the paper. Physics say that once the paper is bent, it can never go back to its original shape. Our systems can detect this. While looking at the paper ballots through our systems, we're not only able to tell was the ballot actually folded and mailed, but we're also able to track, did it go through the postal system and get accounted for? While looking at these ballots, we can look closely at the votes, and we can tell whether the vote was cast by a human hand or a machine. The human hand marking the oval leaves telltale signs of human dynamics. However, if the oval was filled in by a machine, it looks totally different under computer vision examination. Besides, there should be no ballots with already filled in votes. These are just a few of the things that can be detected in the paper that is the ballot. And remember, the paper is a piece of code as well. If that paper is misprinted or misaligned, it will force the voting system to ask for adjudication. Adjudication means Somebody, an administrator, takes a look at the ballot and then they decide what the voter intent was. This is a potential area of deception. In the end, everything begins with the paper ballot long before it gets into the voting machine. The paper ballot is the actual historic artifact of exactly what the voter intended to do.
Anyway, folks, nothing to be alarmed about. But if you haven't stocked up and have basic things, go do it. You'll be happy. Because if you're like me and you love food and love to eat, my God, just look at me. You don't ever see a city go down like I did and only have snowballs and yoo-hoo. Those things just don't divide up well. And no matter how much you plan, oh, I got to make this last a week. You do it. You go back 5 minutes later. Oh, it won't matter. Eat it. And then in one fucking day, you've eaten all your yoo-hoos and drinking your ho-hos or popos or snowballs or whatever, and you're shit out of luck. And you sit there both scared and starving. If you're going to be scared, you might as well have some decent food in your stomach. Take care of yourself, folks. Love you all. Let me see if I work, and I know it's Amazon, but I hate it. But let me see with CreateSpace and everything else. If I can get that book done real, switched to where I can make it free, I'll just give it to everybody, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.